Arsenal 4-1 Newcastle. Rampant Gunners cut the gap to Liverpool to 2 points as Kai Havertz, Bukayo Saka, Jakub Kiwior and a Sven Botman own goal give them huge victory. This time, there was to be no disgrace or disgratia. No potential for FA charges requiring a criminal defence lawyer. But 90 minutes full of spite and grit from an Arsenal side hell-bent on revenge on the back of how this match ended in November. They certainly achieved this. Arsenal have long been accused of being too nice. A club with the kind of players who say sorry without needing to say as such. Not the kind capable of going into battle over a 38-game campaign. Mikel Arteta had said on Friday that nastiness has not historically been part of the club's DNA. From the showing last night, that side of the game is well within them. It will need to be if they are to carry on competing for the title as they extended their winning league run to 6 the first time at the start of a calendar year in the club's history and trail leaders Liverpool by just 2 points. The North London club have also scored 15 goals in their last 3 league games. So much for needing a striker in the January window. The crowd were baying for retribution and the Gunners obliged, combating Newcastle's high line. Their opposition, particularly in the first half, had sat all the way back as expected, trying to soak up the pressure. That Arteta post-match rant after Anthony Gordon's winning goal, which went through 3 separate VAR checks, will likely go down in the Premier League archives. And it added to the maelstrom of fight before kick-off. Arteta said, the way we, executed everything, their intensity, commitment, determination, aggression and progression in everything we were doing with the ball. We're in a good moment. Players are performing individually, it is not any secret. Things are flowing. We're scoring goals in different ways and especially we want more. When we score 1, we want 2 or 3 or 4. I love that mentality from the team. Once the first goal went in, via the Gunners' favourite method of execution, a corner kick, the route was clear. Bukayo Saka's corner, whipped into the mix, met Gabriel's head. Loris Karius pulled off a good reflex save, only for Tino Livramento to rebound the ball and off Sven Botman's knee. Botman had been sprawled on the floor. 6 minutes later, the lead was doubled. Jorginho split the field open with a through ball to Gabriel Martinelli. He reached the byline, crossing for Kai Havertz who was left with a tap-in. Then the second half brought a further 2 goals. The Magpies have now conceded 31 goals in their last 12 league games. Eddie Howe said, we were off in most aspects of our games, we didn't do the basics right. Arsenal put us under pressure and we made technical mistakes. I need to see it again before I make rash statements, but we were not where we needed to be, whether that was psychological or technical. We just weren't there. Revenge, a speciality Arteta has dished out from before the season officially started. Manchester City's punishment for tripping up the Gunners to snatch the title last season was a defeat on penalties in the Community Shield in August, and a 1-0 league loss in October. For Liverpool, they were handed a 3-1 defeat earlier this month after beating Arteta's men in January in the FA Cup. And then there was West Ham, a 6-0 drubbing having beaten Arsenal twice previously in this campaign. The above sequence meant Newcastle knew the Emirates the North London club have only lost once in the league here this season would be a fortress. And on steroids, in light of how the last match between these two teams ended. Arsenal welcomed Gabriel Jesus to the bench after missing the last 4 games with a knee issue. For Newcastle, Karius was in goal. He had not started since the Carabao Cup final 12 months ago. Some fixture to come in for. There was also the boost of having Alexander Isak back from injury. The match immediately resumed from the last fixture on November 4. The crowd roared as Havertz closed down Fabian Schär in the opening minutes, and Martin Odegaard left a mark, too. In Odegaard's case, he was a little too amped up, receiving a yellow card after just 7 minutes for clattering Miguel Almiron. In a week in which Arteta spoke of teaching his men the dark arts, you wondered how hard the switch from nice to streetwise would be pressed. Once Gabriel's header found its way into the net off Botman's knee, the dam had opened. Havertz scored soon after with a tap-in and the traffic forward intensified, Saka's cross headed over by Martinelli. The North London club did have the chances for a third goal by half-time and were keen to put the game out of reach, having experienced a few nervy finishes on home turf. But with 0 shots taken by the Magpies thus far, the potential for jeopardy seemed limited. Upon the restart, Havertz, for all his hard work in the first period, should have finished the game off but dragged Martinelli's through ball wide. He just had Karius to beat. A poor effort. Isak at the other end tried to round David Raya, but the goalkeeper did enough to ward him off. It was a reminder. It did not matter in the end. Once Saka jinked in on his left foot, a bulge in the bottom left of the net followed. Then, on 69 minutes, Jakub Kiwior pinched a goal, his header going in off a Rice corner. Isak scored a consolation goal in the 84th minute, but Arsenal's league rampage, for now, continues.